Very good evening. It's amazing to see a wonderful crowd. The so in fact, as Venura and Senuri just mentioned, I almost spent my career almost 2 decades with data analytics. The starting from the technical background, then work with the different technologies, and I work for I heading the analytics team for a dialogue for more than a decade. Then I moved to the dialogue enterprise and working for multiple organizations. So throughout my career, I observe a lot of organizations, lot of success stories on the analytics, lot of the failures. So during my presentations, what I thought to share with you all today, uh, the uh, the basic the base of the knowledge I have gathered, the few points that you need to consider when it comes to the analytics executions or BI or data AI executions, and the from the Microsoft perspective, the what are the things you should consider, what products you can consider, and the how as H1 how we can help you to help how can we help you to accelerate your journey. So let me go to the my presentations. So start with the analytics. All of us the start with data. There is a statement. I believe all of you are familiar. Data is the fuel of the 21st century. So you can remember, there are we in the school we learned about the first industrial revolution, second industrial revolution, third, and fourth is generated towards there's a saying that fourth industrial revolution will be created by the data. So whenever I work when I'm working for workshops or even when I'm doing some part-time lecturing, I ask from the participants, what you consider as the data? The most of the time, the answers I'm getting, so they will mention either their CRM systems or whether they are billing systems or their core banking systems as a data point. But in fact, it's not only that data. When it comes to the data, is a very broad area, and even today's context, if we want to capture the potential for our ecosystems, we need to consider not only that structured data. Here we are consider the structured data. Not only the structured data, we need to consider even the unstructured data. Unstructured in the sense, it can be images, it can be the videos, it can be the social media, so many stuff, irrespective of the industry. And another dimensions, most of the time as the analytics or any organization, we focus only on our data. But even can be data that we can gather from the second party or a third party. It can be owned by other persons, we can link it, and even the third party that we can purchase. So ultimately, this will bring a lot of insights for the directions. So uh, let's take the small example. So when you try to drive in the road, right? So in a rainy day, so if your windscreen is scattered with raindrops, right? So you can't see the directions, right? So the no clarity about the way forward. But so wiper does. So what it does, it gives the clarity. Even in the data, if you data convert into insights, right, that give the right direction for your organizations. So in a vehicle, then that will give you your directions, and even if you can gather the data, you can understand whether there's a traffic, or even you can, if you know the GPS coordinates of your destinations, you can drive it to the destination locations quite fast and easily. So a lot of things you can do with the support of data. So not only in any business, irrespective whether you are doing the retail or a banking or a telecom, any business. So the data that can be generated for your value for the business is immense. So as per the McKinsey, it's more than 10% of your revenue can be the gain if you manage secured, or even your cost can be optimized. The different percentages more than 20% if you manage your analytics domain more precisely. So let me go to the analytics. So all of us talk about the analytics. But when it comes to, I think most of the people are here from the technical background. But when we go for the businesses and asking for money, the answer is whether there's an investment, whether there's investment, or whether there's a value. How we can show the value. So so you can see a two curve in this presentation in the slide. So the y-axis is related to the value. The second axis is the complexity. So how we can generate this the value from the analytics. So the first way to generate the analytics is the descriptive analytics. So the descriptive in the sense that even for the starting from a report, even the operational report that you are getting from the systems that generate the accuracy and timely information, that will generate a lot of value for your business. That if you can convert into a Power BI or any visualizations tool, give the right informations, that generates some value. And then the complexity is a little bit high, but even from the dashboards, we can diagonalize, we can drill down. That will generate some value, but the value that generated from this diagnostic might be higher compared to the descriptive analytics. For example, descriptive analytics can tell you your sales is down, but where it's down, which segment is down, you can get from the diagnostic. But it's all a kind of a postmortems. Then we are going to the other analytics type, which we call the predictive. The predictive, you can predict something that will happen tomorrow, and then we can plan our processes. And finally, it's the prescriptive. Just like we are going for a doctor, asking for the medicines, then he'll prescribe the medicine. So similarly, in the analytics can prescribe something that we call as the prescriptive analytics. So when it comes to all these four type of analytics, it's generate value. So even sometimes I observe people try to jump into the prescriptive or AI, the advanced analytics stuff, but even there are a lot of low-hanging fruit that you can generate from the descriptive stuff also. The starting point should be to start from the descriptive, setting up the small data warehouse, or even if you don't have a data warehouse, starting with few the semi-automated dashboard. That should be the journey. And let me now see few times on the strategy. Now, if you want to build a house, most of the time we go for either design engineer or a Brahman, or then we'll go for the architect, and we define the proper architect. But unfortunately, most of the time when we define a data warehouse, even most of the IT projects, we are completely, we won't consider about that part. But even data, we need to have a proper architect if we want to go for a right solution, if we want to get the right value out of it. So you can see this is a study that I extracted from the McKinsey. So this study gave three different reasons why projects are getting failed, why projects are not getting the expected outcome. The first reason is the limited adaptations. So although we call BI as a pure technical solution, it's not a pure technical, it's a business solution, technical plus business solution. So when we deployed, let's say we procure 100 license, and when we just put it there, it won't work. So we have to develop the culture, we need to develop the awareness, we need to develop the lot of the required processes to drive the adaptations. And the second point, it says the strategic alignment. So it has to come from the top to bottom, identify the proper use cases. And third point, now a lot of people are talking data quality, because garbage in, garbage out. But anyway, when it comes to analytics, a lot of challenges are coming from the data quality, and some of the rules they won't be able to automate it. So let me go to one point deeper when it comes to the adaptions. Why adaption is a bit difficult? So there's a word called democratization. So when it comes to Power BI, you can develop a data mart, and then you can empower for the end users to extract, and they can develop their own report. That's the beauty of the analytics tool. But the challenge is, most of the time, the central team, they will develop, but there won't be adaptions. The democratizations won't happen. The reasons might be, most of the time, this is the reason. Whatever the data mart is not relevant, or comfort. The people in the business users, they are not familiar with the attribute that published by the central team, the IT team. Or the tools the functions is not familiar, and the culture, and the trust. Sometimes because most of the organizations, sometimes, because when I check how you have 100 license, how many of them are using this particular month? Maybe 25%. The reason is the democratizations. When it comes to democratizations, they have not clearly identified what are the points that they should consider. They have to think from the user perspective and develop the data mart and data modeling they have to do. So that's the one point I just need to the emphasis. The democratization is not equal to the data access. That's something as a team, as a leaders, we should consider when it comes to the BI solution. So if you want to get the maximum output from analytics, definitely we need to address these points as the deployment process. And the other point, the analytics, there are so many roles. It can be the data engineer, that can be data scientist, data analysis, different roles. The management or any expectations, the learning curve is very straight. But unfortunately, it's not that straight. There are a lot of the drops. So we need to understand, and if there's a failure, if there should be somebody or a few experts to drive it. Otherwise, this won't work. So that's something I just want to highlight from the adaptation perspective. Then the strategic perspective, the most organization fail, they won't identify the proper use cases. We call the use case discovery, the proper use cases to touch upon their analytics. When you develop a dashboard or a descriptive or a predictive or anything, they won't consider the correct impact versus effort. So the ideal process is work with the top managements, identify what are the key pain points based on their P&L, then we'll go for the drill down on the relevant use cases. So ultimately, you can fix the use cases into this grid and then go for the mapping the data modeling or even the working with the data scientist or a data analysis on that domain. Then ultimately, the business team will see the value and they will get release the required budget for the adaptations. And so if you are looking for a strategy, there's a good site, even TDWI. That's one of the famous websites. You even free, you can do a small maturity about your analytics in your organizations. There's a questionnaire around 70 plus questions. You can do the analysis. Where are you at the moment? So when I went through this TDWI, it says there are 4 types of organizations. So but they classify into different. I believe in the 20 plus pillars. But if I elaborate in layman point, the elementary stage, the organizations, there are organizations, they purely run on IT. Even if they get the ad hoc report, talk to IT, mainly run on the operational report. Otherwise, purely depend on the IT. They ask IT guys to run the SQL and share the Excel. So that's something, one organization. And there'll be another level. It's kind of a developing stage. What they do, there will be the BI tool, few of dashboards are automated. And then when it comes to its emerging, most of their dashboards are automated and it's kindly governed. So kind of a data democratization is happening. But there are analytics more towards the descriptive kind of analytics, what I mentioned earlier. And when it comes to the matured organizations, they are purely on the analytics. They have the descriptive plus the predictive analytics. At the same time, they measure the impact. So they should be able to see the analytics team, they contribute at least 5% of their total revenue. So that's something even for organizations, if you want to understand your maturity, right? So this is a sample example. So you can get the output. What's your maturity in 5 different dimensions? Even there are even next level also you can go. And then you can go for a roadmap. So as a service, as H1, as Dialog, we provide this service. But even if you want to do self-analysis also, there's websites, even you can free try it out. Let me move into the Azure ecosystem, just to give a very brief understanding what Azure or Microsoft will offer you. So when it comes to Microsoft, so before talking about the Microsoft, I just want to show you the ecosystem of the analytics. Now, when it comes to analytics, all your source systems will be there, right? And then if you want to develop analytics systems, you need to get data into either data warehouse or data lake, or even we call it as even a small data mart to start it. So this process we call it as a ETL. And then it will, there are a few other things people should consider, data quality or even data governance. That area also we need to manage. And then we can share the data with third-party data sharing, the visualizations, or even go for the ML. This is a typical, this is not Azure, this is a typical architecture when it comes to the analytics. So it has the source systems, ETL, we call ETL, extract, transformation, and loading. And then it comes to the visualization like Power BI. And so when it comes to Azure or a Microsoft, so it has few products. So so if we want to the integrations, the ETL process, that's coming with the, we call the short name ADF. It's called the Azure Data Factory. That will allow you to transfer data from the source systems easily. And then the Synapse, they have a separate database. So if you are working for a bit high volumes, you can procure this database that will allow you to process or transfer a lot of information quite fast. And then the Databricks, if you are looking for big data kind of use cases, images, videos, then you need to go for the Databricks. And then the analytics services that will provide the services when it comes to sharing data marts across within the organizations. And then the purview, this is related to data quality or a lineage or a data governance side. I just mentioned few tools. So when it comes to if you want to build your analytic ecosystem, when it comes to licensing, most of the things are bundled together only based on usage. So that, because right now most of the things are moves toward the cloud. So these options are available as customers. These options are available when it comes to the Microsoft domain. So when I move into the Gartner, so Gartner is Gartner. So you can see the Microsoft, when it comes to Power BI, I could mention the Power BI there. Power BI will be the OLAP tool. That's the tool, the visualization tool. So they are the leading in the market, along with the leaders domain, Tableau, and Click. So when it comes to the good points, what I want to mention is when it comes to Power BI, is enterprise level, it's quite easily you can implement, and even most of the people are familiar with the Excel. It's quite easy. And other important point, the point is Power BI desktop is a free, so it's not, you need to take the license. So the adoption is quite easy. So there are a lot of good points when it comes to Power BI compared to the OLAP tools. So let me move to my final sections. How H1 H1, how we can help you. So H1, we have developed our services, the expertise on the different pillars. So one of the area we have built our skills on the Power BI consulting. So if you have requirements, if you want to develop the Power BI, but if some clients ask for me how you can deploy, most of the time I talk democratization, not to the central team. Somebody shared the requirements to the H1 and they develop dashboard. That model won't work. So the processes will empower, will do kind of a training, and even with them we develop few dashboards and we pass it. That's the model we are working. So that model we can work. That's the area, one of the area we are competent. Another area, if you want to extend your dashboard building into data warehouse, even that side we have the capability. And even let's say if you want to migrate your local into the cloud, even that side we have the capability if you want to migrate to data warehouses. And the training. So this is something area we have the very good training pool. We have partners who can contribute not only on the tool perspective, even the culture perspective to build the analytics team. So we have conducted multiple trainings covering more than 40 plus corporates during the last year. So it's not only restricted only for the Power BI, it's related to the machine learning, even building the culture for the C-level, that sort of workshops we do. And even we do kind of a hackathon, internal hackathon. If you want to do the adaptions, we do that sort of trainings for the customers. And finally, the new area that we are looking is the OpenAI. With the Azure OpenAI ChatGPT, we help you to develop some of the use cases on top of ChatGPT. So Dr. Ramesh, in the next presentations, he will talk about what sort of benefits you can take from the OpenAI services. So when it comes to organizations, so I mentioned previously there are four type of organizations. It's kind of elementary, developing, emerging, and the mature. So if I map these services, so you can start. Let's say if you don't have any the kind of the tools at the moment, the starting point I feel the build a culture, build the awareness, starting with Power BI, do a kind of few dashboards with the semi-automated process, or even do the without investing for a big hardware, do integrate via flat files and do the automation. That's the starting point. Then we can go for a data warehouse, and then we can go for the other machine learning and even the OpenAI kind of a use cases. That should be the journey. So it should be step by step, but since I don't think you should spend years to get it done. It's kind of if you have a proper roadmap, if there's a proper use cases, it's kind of we can justify for the management and move fast. So finally, I would like to mentions again why you should consider as H1. It's kind of as a partner to implement your data warehouse or analytics related services. So one area, we are coming from the practitioner background, so we know the taste, what are the challenges, so that knowledge we have. And the second point, we have the certifications. Even for the conducted certain envisioning workshops, we have certified people to conduct the workshops. And we have the strong partners. For example, we partner with Skewed, one of you the colleagues, even they work with us Dialogue, but right now the guy here is today, he worked for the Skewed. He's based on Australia, but they have plenty of experience in the Azure. They have done a lot of projects on the analytics, so they serve as architect for our projects. So that will add a lot of value additions when it comes to cost optimization and putting the right the solution for the organizations. And we have the other important points. You know, the Microsoft, when it comes to H1, they have a strong team. Not only the analytics, they have the modern systems, all the other platforms, the security, they have a very good team. So if you are looking for end-to-end implementation, we can do it quite fast. So in overall, this is something I just want to mention. But if you have any questions, so we'll discuss after. There will be a small panel discussions. There we'll discuss all during the Q&A session we can answer. Okay, thank you very much.